Hey everyone. I've got an update about my stream. Unfortunately, it's bad news, I guess, for some of you anyway. I am going to be extending my hiatus from streaming indefinitely at this point. Um, the real reason is just I don't have the time and the mostly it's the energy with everything that's going on right now. Work and other responsibilities and how I've been feeling. Having the last couple of weeks off of streaming has made me realize how little time I'm giving myself after everything else has been addressed, and streaming 10 to 12 hours a week is consuming a noticeably significant chunk from my free time. So, that's the short version. I'm hoping that this doesn't last forever. I'm hoping I can figure out how to get more energy back, or some of these things that I'm dealing with in real life, my job's workload and other things can, will lighten up a bit, or I'll get better at dealing with them. And then I can maybe get back to streaming, or maybe I can figure out how to adjust my streaming schedule so it's not as intense or it's more convenient or whatever. But that's the short version of it. I do want to thank everybody, for your support over the last couple of years that I've been streaming. It means a lot to me. I've met some new friends. I've had really good time playing things that I wouldn't have played probably by myself. So, good learning experience, learning how to stream. And it's been very helpful for me learning how to talk more to a camera. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's been helping me a lot with kind of articulation and pacing of how I talk. It's been good. It's been helpful. It's been a good learning experience. And it's been fun, just taking up too much energy. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for all the support. Even if you were, viewed me on Twitch, or if you only watched my videos afterwards, or if you were only a YouTube follower, or, if you only came by the stream once every 3 months, or if you were here every week, I appreciate every one of you. Again, I'm hoping at some point I'll be back, but it's not fair to say when, and I can't make any promises. If I will be back, I'll make sure that I make an announcement of some kind on Blue Sky. But otherwise, you'll see me, I guess. You'll see me popping up on Twitch. So that's the short version. So if you're only here for the short version, that's it. You can hop out. So for those of you who are interested in a long version, you probably know from watching me a lot that I am a compulsive rambler. And I also try to be open about, mental health and what's going on, how I deal with stress and things like that. So I'm not going to get into too many personal details or anything, but I've got a few key things that have been kind of draining me, and they're all kind of tightly interwoven. So it's hard for me to explicitly say what's responsible. The first one's obviously work. Work has been very mentally tough for me. And I don't know how much of that is just the nature of the work that I'm doing has changed. How much of it might be crunch, because, AI bubble is probably going to pop soon. And I think probably a lot of people in the software industry are feeling this way right now. A crunch is coming because these idiots that have overinvested in AI are going to start realizing that their shit is not that great, and they're going to probably be reluctant to fold up all of the new AI investment they've done. And so they're putting pressure on everyone else to cover their fucking asses. Seriously. And so everyone at work right now that I've talked to is feeling additional crunch, and it's just hard. It's always been hard for me. I think it's hard for everyone to kind of distance yourself emotionally from that crunch, especially when you work full time and that's most of your life. sadly. And I don't know how much of it is just like things are more difficult because I've been having problems with, depression and ADHD and stuff like that. And it's been just harder for me to focus and be productive. And so that's just making me feel more stressed. So those things kind of interacting with each other. And then, like I've been struggling with depression a little bit recently. Some of it, I'm sure, is like as the winter closes in and I get less sunlight, because that kind of always hits me every year. And some of it is just from other sources like work, like just general ADHD struggles, the state of the world, and just like all stuff that I've always struggled with depression my whole life. So just like the regular triggers and stressors. And I've mentioned this before. I have a chronic disease. I have it's a autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and I've got a bunch of triggers, and it has a bunch of symptoms, and they kind of drain on me as well. And one of the big triggers for symptoms for me is stress, which is fucking garbage. That's a dumb thing. So I get stressed because of work, and then that feeds into my condition, and then my condition, that makes me more stressed because that's happening. And then that starts a positive feedback loop, and I end up like breaking out, and I've got like swollen joints and like irritated eyes, and I get like all this splotchy stuff all over my like skin, and I start breaking out and things like that. And it's kind of it's embarrassing. So sometimes I'm just like, that'll happen. I'll have a big flare up when I'm supposed to stream, and I'll cancel a stream because I'm embarrassed to show up on camera looking like that. And it sucks. And that kind of like, but I know like people aren't really going to judge me for it, but that's not the point, right? It's just kind of like that internal struggle. So like all this stuff is kind of, we've got, that's not the only health problem that we're dealing with. My wife has health problems. We've got Bastet has got her health problems. I know that's not as big of a deal. You wouldn't think that interrupts with stream, but it does take my attention and my energy. And we've got family members dealing with health problems right now too. Our parents are getting older and things like that. So it's just so much stuff. And it's really just work consumes so much of my energy. I wish that I could just like win the lottery and retire, and then I could stream more often, because I have a lot more fun streaming than I do at work. But it's like the only responsibility I have that I really can't drop, because I'm keeping our family afloat with work. Obviously, I mean, most people are in that boat, so it probably doesn't really require explaining, but it kind of sucks, right? To have to, if I wake up some mornings with like half a tank of gas in me, and I use it all in the first half of my workday, and then the afternoon at work is just fumes, and I can't check out because I have to do this because it's my livelihood. And then at the end of work, I have nothing. I've got nothing to run errands with. I've got nothing to deal with, like anxious thoughts and depressive thoughts. It's hard to fight those back. It's hard to, maintain a healthy diet, maintain an exercise routine, and then also having to do streaming. I'm an introvert. I consider myself an introvert. And by that, I don't mean that I don't enjoy socializing. It's just that socializing costs energy for me. And sometimes streaming has cost me more energy than it gives me back. And it sucks to feel like that, honestly. I've been streaming for a couple years. I wouldn't consider myself successful at it. I have been doing it, but I wouldn't consider myself successful. And I know there's like a bunch of factors in there. Some of it's just the algorithm. Some of it is what I'm streaming. And some of it is how frequently I'm streaming, like the quantity of it. And a lot of that stuff is just, I don't have the options to expand those things right now. And so it kind of sometimes streaming feels self-defeating when I'm doing that. Because it feels like I'm just kind of pouring my energy into an empty pit, and I'm not getting anything out of it. And that's not going to make this stuff feel enjoyable for other people to watch. And I'm very self-conscious person. I try not to be, but you can't help it. I think everyone struggles a little bit with that self-consciousness. Anyway, so the key, this is the long version, obviously. I think the key takeaway here, and the reason why I wanted to share this with people, is to remind you, if you're doing this to yourself, to check in with yourself more regularly. I always end my streams by saying, take care of yourselves and each other. And people frequently, I think, forget to take care of themselves. And so I wanted this to more be like a reminder to those of you who care to check in with yourself more regularly and realize, try to find areas where you're doing something optional that you don't enjoy, and to don't be afraid to switch gears. Part of this is I don't want to disappoint my followers. We don't have a very large community here. We actually have a very small community, let's be honest. Very small community. But, you guys are my friends. I think that I've have a lot of fun. I've gotten to know some of you. And, I don't like letting people down. Like, this is a general problem that I have in life in general, I think. Anyway, that's the long version. That's the gist of the long version. So again, if you've made it this far in this video, thank you for caring, for giving a shit about what I think and what I'm going through. I know that you all care. I don't feel like any of you don't care. It's just, been a struggle. It's just been a struggle recently. So, again, thank you to each and every one of you. I really do mean that. I don't care. Some of you I see once or twice. I've seen like 6 times over the last 2 years. And I still appreciate that. If you've been a long-time follower and you've just been lurking, or you've never watched me live, or you've only watched me on YouTube, it doesn't matter. I appreciate it anyway. It has helped. This whole experience has helped me a lot with anxiety, with social anxiety, which I have as well. It's helped me a lot with everything. And for those reasons too, I want to try and get back into it, because this has been productive from like a self-improvement point of view. So I'm going to take some time off, and I don't want to promise how much, but I would like to just free myself of that mental burden for a little while and just be like, I will get back to it when I get back to it. And I would like to get back to it at some point. I'm not tearing down my streaming setup. I'm not getting rid of my green screen or throwing it into storage or anything like that. So I'm going to leave everything the way that it is here, and we're going to see how I feel after hopefully a short break. So again, please follow me on Blue Sky. That's probably where I'm going to put the update, or just turn notifications on Twitch, and I hope to see you again in the future. Please reach out to me on Discord, or leave me a YouTube comment or whatever, reply to a post on Blue Sky of mine, however you want. If you want to reach out to me, I'd love to reach out. I have some mutual Discord servers with people, but I'm probably going to be winding down my little tiny section of the Discord, because it's not really being used very much, and it kind of doesn't really make any sense to be there. So I have some mutual communities with some of you, so you can get in touch with me that way too. Okay, that's it. That was the long version. So thank you again, everybody. Please do take care of yourselves. I think it's really important. I'm going to try and take care of myself right now, get through the winter here, and just try to maintain my sanity as I do so. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Be good. And I hope to see you again very soon. Okay, bye for now.